You're listening to Real Talk live streaming from Northport, Florida. It is absolutely gorgeous out today. So if you have a chance to get out and about, just take your time out on the streets. I have a very special friend in the house today, and we're going to kind of engage in a little bit of back and forth with what's happening in the police department, but be careful on the roads. It's very busy out there on Cyber Monday. I think it is Cyber Monday, but it's crazy out there in the shopping malls. So take it easy out there on the streets. And I'm going to let Brittany introduce herself.
Hi. So I am Brittany Kammerer. You may notice me from our social media page at the police department. I am the community engagement and recruiting specialist. So what does that mean? I have the absolute joy of telling the department's story, our officer's story, and getting information out to the public in a timely manner. And that also kind of crosses into recruiting. When we put out content and other agencies or other people see what we're doing, it makes them want to come work here, and we are able to get those qualified personnel to come here. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell.
You've got some really cool videos that are out there, and it's really a different way of approaching the educational piece out into the community. How effective do you think those are? What kind of feedback do you get?
We were at lunch today and someone was like, I know you from your videos. You do such a great job. It's such a great way to inform the public. So I get a lot of positive feedback from it. I don't know about you, but when I'm consuming information, forget about reading it. If I read it, I'm completely brain dead in 5 seconds. So for me, I have to watch something. And I feel like a lot of people in today's world, they're scrolling. And if they have to read something that's long, they're not retaining any of that information. So that's why I do these little news videos or just quick little blurbs and stuff like that, because I feel like you can get so much more content in that, and people are actually going to watch what you're saying to get the information. So,
with everything that's going on out there in this world right now, one of the things that we brag about, at least we do on this show, is the police department, the fire department, collectively the city as a whole, retention of hires. Uh,
mhm.
how does it look from your viewpoint as the recruiter for all of these things, as far as the retention side of things?
We very rarely lose an employee or an officer, anybody, to another agency. I don't remember the last time we had somebody leave because they were going somewhere else, unless it was a step up. We did have a gentleman who went to the FBI, of course, but
Had
for
to make this
local.
stuff up.
But for local agencies, we very, very rarely lose anyone. And I think that speaks volumes about our culture here. We have an amazing chief. It starts at the top and on its way down. And I think that he provides a very good environment here, and people feel that, and they don't want to leave once they come. So I get to see that, and I see a lot of new people coming in from other agencies and hearing their stories about the agencies they work for, and knowing that it probably will never be like that here. It's nice. It really is.
And we got some sad news from Charlotte County, that we lost an officer over the weekend,
We did.
who was going home after a shift. So we want to give a little bit of a shout out to his family, thoughts and our prayers, heading down to Charlotte County, because they are a part of our viewing audience, our listening audience, and that it matters when an officer or a fireman goes down in our communities. So we feel badly about that. Do you have anything to add?
Even if it's far spread, if it's in another state, or we're all together in this, and not even just as law enforcement, as humans. When we lose a brother or a sister, it hits us hard. It truly does, and our thoughts and prayers are with them.
That it says a lot. I was with Charlotte County police officer this weekend.
Mhm.
We had our Ohio State Michigan fundraiser celebration, everything this weekend, and he always comes through and checks on us. And that evening, one of his fellow officers went down, but we have to we all have to stand behind the shield here a little bit. Um, there's been a lot of controversy over standing behind police officers over the years, and I got to tell you, there's a lot of great people in that serve our
Mhm.
communities, and I think when you're on the positive side of interaction, you feel differently than when you're on the negative side of interaction.
Like with
Um,
anything,
yeah,
absolutely. Mhm.
I agree with that. You kind of assess each position a little different, but you're kind of in that position where you're seeing both sides. And do you guys feel the camaraderie back to the community? Do you feel that love back that I hope you're feeling?
Let me tell you something. I think that we truly serve the best community and they show up in amazing ways. I mean, just look at our social media pages. You're going to have naysayers. That is totally normal. But overall, our community supports us. They support our officers and they support we call them professional staff. We don't call them civilians, but they support us as a whole. And that is something that I am so grateful for. I was gone for 2 weeks doing training to become a master PIO through FBI LEDA. And while I was there, I was talking to other people from different agencies across the United States. And to hear that they don't have their community support, it's almost, it's not something I can process because we have it so heavily here. That to hear that there are other places that don't have that, it's mind blowing to me.
That speaks volumes for the support
Mhm.
that you have, but the feedback that you get from the community, just that little bit of a story from today where you
Mhm.
were at lunch and somebody walked up to you, how does that make your job translate in and process through your daily mindset as an individual?
My main goal is it always is to tell our story, yes, but to provide timely information to the public. And if I am getting positive feedback from people, then that means that I'm doing my job and I'm doing it right. So I love hearing, hey, I saw you, you did a great job. Because it's like, great, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm serving the public. And I enjoy it. I do. I'm gonna hit a little button there. There we go. Sorry.
That's right. So you've got that engagement, you've got the social media side of things.
Mhm.
What else are you guys doing? I know that we've got Shop for the Cop that's happening
Oh,
soon.
I got a list right here because there's so
Yeah,
much that I wouldn't be able to
listen,
remember it.
dig right into your list.
So we have Stuff a Stocking that's coming up this Friday. So we're going to have officers and our professional staff at different corners throughout the city. So they'll be at Toledo Blade and Price, West Villages Parkway and Tamiami Trail, Cocoa Plum and Tamiami. We're going to have we're going to have stockings that we're hoping to stuff. We'll also have little QR codes where people can make donations to our Shop with a Cop program there. So that is this Friday, December 5th from 7 in the morning until 10. So we'll be out there. We're going to be at the Poinsettia Parade this Saturday from 3 to 7. That's going to be a blast. We'll be in the parade with our vehicles, and we'll also be walking around and engaging with the community there. We have Do the Right Thing, which is next week. So that's where we recognize children in the community that have gone above and beyond and done the right thing. And then we have our famed Shop with a Cop, which is, I think, 3 days of nothing but fun at the Northport Walmart, the big one, not the little one that's on 41. And we'll be there from December 15th to the 18th from 6 to 8:30, providing children in the community that um, might not have the chance to do this, an opportunity to go out and pick some toys or clothes or whatever it may be that they would like at that time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the give back from the officers and what you guys do to support the community, and really it's that connection that
Mhm.
that I hope that we're not missing it at the high school level now with not having the resource officers there. I know that connection has grown better now that we've
Mhm.
had a couple of years. with
Well,
the
to
transition.
kind of touch on that, I think the school board does a phenomenal job. I'm very close with a lot of the SROs because, we have to work together. We're all in this
Absolutely.
together. And I think that's like the most important thing, if I can get it across, that we're all in this together. And they are outstanding. The students love them. I have 5 children, so they all go to, different schools within Northport, and they love their SRO. So even though it's not us, they're doing an outstanding job there, and they're still embedded with these students and making a difference.
It's really nice to have that connection too, because
Mhm.
I remember my youth, way back. Um, I was really connected to the officers in our little village that I grew up in,
Mhm.
and and then it went into the Columbus Police Department, because a lot of the people that I went to school with became officers or firemen.
Mhm.
We have that same thing happening here locally now on a much higher level. We've got a lot of Northport graduates that are now Northport police officers and have been now. Oh gosh, I think Brandon McHale is probably one of the I dare not say oldest, but he's been around a long time, and I
Mhm.
think he graduated in '06 from the high
Oh,
school.
we have so many officers that graduated from here in Northport, grew up in Northport, or they transplanted, went to high school, and then they ended up coming and working for us. We have a commander, Scott Guzman, Deputy Chief Morales. He's from here. He grew up here. So we have a lot of people that have roots in the community.
And that really helps too, doesn't it?
It does. Absolutely, it does. Especially, again, I'm not a police officer. I can only, guess. But when they go out on calls and they happen to know this person from high school, maybe it helps de-escalate the situation, or just having that tie to the community. Yes, you can have somebody come from New York and love our community and do an outstanding job, but there's just something about, a commander that's been here since he was 2, and his kids are now being taught by his teachers, and it's just, you can't replace that. You can't.
Well, I'm going to say this too, because my career field as a realtor, it kind of crosses into the gray area when we talk about where people should live, and the safety and all those things. But interviewing you and others that are part of the police department, how about giving an overview of why people should feel like they're in a safe community living in Northport?
I can tell you why I feel like it's a safe community.
Go
So
ahead.
I come from New Jersey. I lived right outside of Philadelphia, and I can tell you it was not the safest place. Crime was through the roof. You couldn't go out and ride your bike and do things that most normal kids here can do. And I'm not afraid of telling my children, go ahead, go, just please go outside and go be kids. We're a no tablet, no TV household. So I'm very big on go play, go outside, go to the park. And I don't have a fear that something's going to happen to my children. That's number one. We live in a very safe community. We can let our kids do this. Now, of course, are there one-offs? Are there knuckleheads? Are there's people? Absolutely. We're not blind to that. But overall, we live in a very safe community with good schools, good people, and a great police department.
We do, and we attack things a little different. I know the commitment to the electronic surveillance. We've got cameras. We've got all kinds of things that we utilize, and we're not truly at full strength. And when I've talked to Deputy Chief Morales about these things, the level of commitment
Mhm.
from the organization itself, I think it's mind blowing to the average citizen to hear him talk about how the structure is and what they intend to do in the future. It's really, I one, a challenge, but two, I think they're looking at every surveillance opportunity they have to keep the community safe. Do you feel
Absolutely.
that same?
I agree. I know there's a lot of people that get that, ooh, big brother, we're not watching you water your lawn. We're not tracking you through the city. The tools that we have in place are for when they're needed. And when they're needed and we have them, that's when we see the results. And we're not out here being big brother. These are tools for when something happens and we need them. We have them at our fingertips to use them and bring somebody home safely.
We tend to make the national news when there's something really bad. We never make national news when we're doing all the great things that no one sees. The
I will
drone.
actually correct you on that one,
Let
only
me, let
because
me have it. Go ahead.
like, yes, I think we as a society gravitate towards negativity. That's just how it works. It just pulls something in you. You're like, I gotta watch this, I gotta read it. But at the same token, we've had a lot of stories reach a national level that were good. Sergeant Shields saving the child that was running down US 41. Holy moly, millions. This reached like Finland and all the way over there. That's insane. And it was just something so simple, as just making sure that the child was safe, and it was beautiful. And we had officers fixing someone's mailbox because it got damaged during a hit and run. And again, that just spread like wildfire. We had people writing in from Romania, wanting to thank these officers and buy them stuff. I mean, it's beautiful that the power of social media. We were talking before, there's a positive and negative, right?
Right.
There is a lot of negative on social media, but my job as, being a part of the public information team here is to, yeah, there's going to be negative, just like last night, we had a shooting that's negative, but we also do so much positive, and there's so much positive happening in the community that it outshines that. So yes, there is negative, but I think that we do a great job highlighting a lot of the positive, and it goes completely on fire and it reaches millions of people.
Well, Lane Emmerich, I did post a few things on Robin, so read those. But Elaine Emmerich says the police department partners with Kiwanis, Holly's Hope, and the school board's police for Do the Right Thing. It is an amazing program that honors students for making good choices. You
Yes. Yes,
you
that's the
hit
one that
on
I
that
touched
earlier.
base on. I did. It's coming up December 8th. I don't even know what day it is. December 8th, so I
It's
think that's next Tuesday.
first. It's the first today. So that one's what, 7 days out?
Yes, and I was actually doing some stuff for that this morning. It's exciting, and the Kiwanis is an outstanding program. They help us tremendously with the Do the Right Things. The kids love it. They love being recognized, and the Kiwanis go above and beyond every year to partner with us. So it's great. It really
They
is.
do. Actually, they were part of our Ohio State, Michigan fundraiser down at Twisted Fork this weekend,
Hmm.
along with the enforcers. They were part of our event too. So uh, we had Bert's uh, tr- Bert King's 501c3 there. Salute to America. And we had the enforcers there working with Charlotte County for Shop with the Cop. And we
Hmm.
had the Honest team there, and they were doing building their own raffle side of things for Ohio State versus Michigan. So football turned into a huge give back to the community, and which is phenomenal when you think about it.
That's what it's
But
about.
it
That's what
is
it's about.
that connection with people,
Hmm.
and it's a lot of fun. But when you see the difference it makes with the kids, with even you guys, I've been to Walmart and watched Shop with the Cop happen. If you haven't seen it, you should go. It is an amazing changing event for what where your heart is, because you actually see end result. And
Oh,
it's go ahead.
it is. So last year was my first year, doing Shop with a Cop, for Northport, for this agency, and I I ended up in tears last year. So as a mom, my heart, man, I just when it comes to kids, that's it. This little girl, I was helping her in another officer shop, and on her list she had clean, her in her own words, clean bed sheets, clothes that fit, like things that it just breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. And this is no fault of parents. This is nothing. This everybody is trying to do their absolute best with what they have. But to see that and to be able to provide her what was on her list and more, unbelievable. To see this little girl's face and just pure happiness, it is worth everything. And our community policing unit goes above and beyond and makes sure that all of these children are well taken care of and they have the resources and the things that they need. And it's an amazing time. It really is.
If somebody wanted to support Shop with the Cop, how would they do that?
They can reach out to our community policing unit. I can give you all that information if
Sure.
now or afterwards.
You good now, and we'll
So
just get off the air.
Okay, so I don't know their phone number, but the email that you can email is communitypolicing@northportpdfl.gov. You can send an email to them and you can either, yeah, I know we've had a lot of families reaching out for help. They will, so with Shop with the Cop, the schools give us a list of children that are in need. If we have space available after we, fill those spots, then we will help families that reach out to us. We've had a lot of families reaching out to us. But if you're interested in donating, that's a good email as well. Send the email to them, let them know that you're interested in donating, you're interested in volunteering, coming out and helping with Shop a Cop, or really any of the programs that I mentioned. If you're interested in coming out and volunteering, they would be more than happy to work with you.
We have a huge blend of cultures here
Mhm.
in Northport. Not that other cities don't, but we do have a huge blend. How does that all play out within the police department, as far as the communication side of things, and really helping those individuals who find themselves in a difficult time to maybe have uh, 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 language barriers and
Mhm.
different things like that.
So that is definitely something that I keep in mind when I do large messaging. Obviously, I can't put all of my videos in every language. Thank goodness for social media because there's tools for that they can manipulate the video. Now, if we're trying to get crisis communication information out, we will put it into the languages that we see the most. So Creole, Ukrainian, things of that nature, Spanish. We'll do that. So we are very cognizant that not everybody speaks the same language, and we're aware of that, and we try to make sure we cover all the bases so that everybody can receive information.
It's nice to hear it. It's nice to hear that we're addressing it. It
Yeah,
A lot of people think I don't know, and they go into that shell of maybe even a gossip. I don't think they do this, and I don't think you guys
we do.
really
And
work.
look, it goes so much further than just a language barrier. So I don't operate from the fact that, oh, everybody has social media and that's how they're going to consume their information. That's not the case. It's not the case at all. We have a very large elderly population. So how are we going to get information to them? Well, we're going to beat feet, right? We're going to go and we're going to go meet with them. We're going to go drive to their neighborhood. We're going to do whatever it takes to get information to them. And again, that doesn't, I mean, I'm not going to go and show them all my videos. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do a lot with if there's important information and I need to get it to a community member who might not be on social media, we're going to do whatever it takes and we're going to deliver it to them in the means that they are capable of receiving it.
Yeah, and Robin says with technology today, there are numerous translation
Mhm.
programs, and you were talking about that, and those are for the people who are used to doing it. First off, those people that you just mentioned, that's another challenge, because social media is one aspect of it, but
Mhm.
reaching them at where they're at, that's the
Yes.
hardest part too.
It is. And, I kind of operate from if it's predictable, it's preventable. So I'm predicted, right? That not everybody consumes social media the way we do, or they might not be subscribing to our local newspapers, whatever the case may be. So we have to meet them where they're at. And that's half the battle, knowing that. And then we have to facilitate it. And we do. And I think that we do a great job here at the police department and the city. The city's outstanding as well with their communication efforts. And we all work together to make sure it gets done.
You know, I'm going to say this out loud because people translate things differently. Just because you don't hear it the way you want to hear it
Mhm.
doesn't mean they're not communicating. You guys are trying to communicate, just like on this show, or this live stream. We've had Robin, we've had Elaine. Uh, Communication is the key to this whole thing. So if you're listening out there right now and you have a question or a comment, or you feel like Northport is a safe community, give them a thumbs up or give them a like and share. Seriously, this is how we get the information out into the community, because my following is different than Brittany's following. And if, as long as we're building the interactive audience, that's the whole key to social media, is building the interactive audience, so that the word spreads a lot quicker. So if there is something of need that needs to get out quickly, you've got a captive audience that's maybe looking and helping for cars or a silver alert or whatever you may have out there. Do you look at that in totality when you're thinking about, I need to build this so that I reach more people?
Absolutely. That is always in the forefront of my mind. I don't create content just to create it. There's always a reason behind it, whether it's recruiting, whether it is to engage the community in a positive light, to get information out, whatever it may be. There's always a method to my madness. So yes, it's always there.
Absolutely. So how are we connecting, other than like Shop with a Cop and inter school
Mhm.
relationship? How are we trying to connect with the youth at the high school levels now, maybe on the recruiting side of things?
So we attend a lot of recruiting events. We actually have one coming up this Thursday. So we are consistently in the schools, and um, I'll go. We have a community policing unit that is heavily, heavily, heavily involved with that. And they'll go out and they're able to speak to the law enforcement side, the sworn side, and I'm able to speak to the civilian side of it. So we're still very much engaged. We get invited to the schools a lot to partner with the SROs, the Sarasota County School Board. So we are still very much embedded in the schools and working with the youth there. We do a lot of stuff with the Boys and Girls Club, which is a phenomenal organization in our community. If people are not aware of it, oh my goodness, I wish that they were. Absolutely outstanding. And we do a lot of stuff with them. We had a kickball tournament with them. We do a lot of stuff with our Parks and Rec department, with the summer camps, the winter camps, the spring camps, things of that nature. So we're heavily involved. Our community policing unit, I don't think gets a break ever. They're always out with the community doing stuff, especially the children.
And another question from Elaine. Do you know if the city police department would ever take back the high school if it were possible again?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure we would love to. We love being in our schools and with our kids. Maybe if that opportunity came up, that's something that the chief would entertain. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I I think he probably would. I think there's advantages that come with that. I think there's also disadvantages. I think there's probably check marks on both sides of that box, but um
I think at the end of the day, um, there's one goal there, right? It's to keep our kids safe. So it doesn't matter if we're in the school. It doesn't matter if the school board's in the school. As long as our children are safe, they're heard, and they're connected to us, to law enforcement, and then that's all we need. That's all we need.
yeah, that's a great answer, because I think that the powers that be are not, would Northport do it. It's got to be the school board that looks at it, because that's who addressed it to begin with.
Hmm.
So that's another one good. Let's see. Robin's got one. Would you be in the would you be the person to address the new ICE, federal participation that concerned citizens are having, surrounding this?
So I monitor social media. I monitor all the pages. I have seen some of the posts that are kind of going back and forth. I am not the person for that. I don't. I'm not up to speed on that. Let's just put it that way. If you want more information, I can give you my email. I would be more than happy to answer whatever questions you have, or probably not for me, but get the answer at least and be able to give you some guidance or clarification or whatever you need. Because look,
And
at the end of the day,
you're
this is about transparency, right? And I
yeah.
think that is the biggest thing that I try to push is transparency. And thank goodness our chief is outstanding. Because again, like I told you, I went to the MPO class, and to hear that a lot of these other agencies, their sheriffs, their chiefs, they're like, oh no, 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 no. Like it blows my mind. I love that our chief is like, absolutely, you go ahead and you answer that. You get a question, you do it. So it's great. So just my email is B as in boy, my last name Kammerer, Kammerer at northportpdfl.gov. Just whatever questions you have, you can go ahead and you can shoot me an email and I will make sure I get them answered.
And the beautiful thing is it's scrolling across the bottom, so you can actually see it as it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
There we go.
Feel free.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you've got it there. You've got a verbal. You've got everything.
Yeah.
You know, you answer emails pretty quickly too, don't you?
I do. I work 24/7. Now I'm a early bird. I'm in bed by like 8:30, but overall, like I am very quick because I feel like that's my duty, right? That's my job. My job is to get you an answer. And one, if I don't answer immediately, I'm going to forget. And I know that about myself. So I answer like that. So yeah, if you have a question, I'll at least let you know I got your email. I'm working on it. I'll keep you in the loop. You'll never be in the dark, and I'll get you what you need.
Where are where are the spots that you target? So your outlook and your job,
Mhm.
where are some of the things with the social media side of it? Because I find that to be interesting because you can get hammered one way or hammered the other. But you, somebody looking at it from your viewpoint, trying to get the right information out, not necessarily even the calming information, because it's not always a calm,
Uh,
happy experience. But how do you look at that, and how do you kind of tear it down? And I know you do tear it down.
mhm.
We all do. How do you tear it down and put it back together so you can get it into the hands of the public so that they can consume it the way you need them to?
I
You
think
know what I
there is
mean?
a. I think I understand what you mean. So I'll start answering, and if I'm answering it wrong, you can correct me. But um, I think there is a beauty in the fact that I'm civilian. I don't look at things like an officer would or a detective would or anything like that. I kind of look at things a little different. I look at it like a mom. I look at it like a city employee. I look at things very, very differently. So when I put things together, I don't like cop jargon. I don't like speaking at you. I try to frame things like, hey, I'm Brittany. We're friends. This is the information I have, and I will give the public as much as I possibly can within limits of our investigation. I have nothing to hide, and that is my job. And I enjoy that. So when I'm putting stuff out, I want it to be well understood. They have a saying, I am not calling anybody dumb. I'm just saying they have a saying that you want to write it to a fifth grade level, right? So everybody can understand it. So if my daughter hops on here and she gets a video that I'm putting out, she could be like, oh, I understand what's going on. So I keep that in the back of my mind too, that I'm not just, giving it to the adults in our community. I'm giving it to kids too. So it's easily understood by everybody. And I just that yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I do it I do it from heart. I do it from understanding that the community wants to know and they want to know now. And I get that because I'm the same way. And just making it human. I am not a reporter. I am Brittany. I am your friend, and I'm just giving you the information. And that's how I work it.
So you've got Facebook,
Mhm.
Twitter, Instagram, I'm sure.
We
Um,
do.
so where do you find the youth of today? I know where we find us old people because our MySpace is gone, so we're on Facebook. So I jokingly say old people because I put myself in that category, but the younger generation, they're not on Facebook as much. So
No.
go ahead.
So Instagram is a different animal. I can post the exact same video on Facebook and not get as much reach, not get as much interaction. Once I translate it over to Instagram, it is total different game at that point. So a lot of the younger, when I say younger, I'm talking 25 and under. I can even probably go up as high as 30 and under. They're on Instagram. Now, Facebook is for the more I want to say older. I don't even like that word because I fall into that category, but Facebook is a little bit older. It's more I videos do well, but you have to craft them properly for Facebook because sometimes it just doesn't translate well because of the age difference on both platforms. And Twitter is more of a, to me, it's more of a media tool. I personally don't use Twitter. The police department does. It's still a great tool, but I don't get as much interaction on there as I would Facebook or Instagram. So I know when I'm crafting content, like we did the mental health post where we stood out in the corner and we held signs letting people know that you matter because they do. And I posted pictures on Facebook because I knew that that would probably gain more traction there. And I posted the video on Instagram, which went like wildfire. And the demographics for Instagram were younger. They were about 18 to 25.
Yeah. Well, that, you know what, you gotta catch people where they're at. And the difficulty for today is there's so many outlets. You've got to like hone in and be great at all of them at some point.
Mhm.
But even just being active on them is something to be said. Robin mentioned earlier that you are an asset, and I'm gonna back that up with Zio's 21 Pizzeria. They are a huge supporter of ours, and I appreciate them. And get your pizzas tonight from Zio's.
We
But
are a huge supporter of them too. We go to lunch there a lot. They're phenomenal.
yeah, it is. It's fantastic, and I love the fact that they're participating, and I get to put them up and kind of give them a little shout out.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to have you guys on board and go get some good pizza tonight for dinner. And Robin wants to know, are you also on TikTok?
We are not. So there is, how do I word this? There's like this weird thing with TikTok where some government agencies are able to navigate that and some aren't. We're not. So we're not quite there yet. I'm hoping soon we can. But I operate very much from is the juice worth the squeeze? So I look at the platform, I look at the demographics, I look at the content that we could put out, and I don't just look at it within the past month to a whole year. Can I craft enough content for a whole year that is going to resonate with that audience and make a difference? And my answer is absolutely. It's a great recruitment tool. It's a good platform to show the younger generation that law enforcement is where it's at because I'm biased. So I think it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping at some point we can get TikTok, but right now it's not a platform that we can use.
So and there's a lot of people that are shying away from TikTok for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Hopefully, at someday in the near future, that'll flip. But there are also going to be other platforms that get developed that are going to grab hold and take off again too.
Yeah.
You guys analyze everything though. That's what's kind of cool is listening to you. You're analyzing everything
Mm-hmm.
to utilize it to the best advantage to serve the community, right?
Yeah, I think understanding the tools in your toolbox is very important. You cannot treat them all like the same. And there are times where I'll cross post. So what goes on Facebook goes on Instagram, goes on Twitter, and that's fine. There's a time and a place for that. But understanding again the demographics and how they're going to process the information you're giving them is important. So I think we do a good job at that. I really do. But I think it just comes down to understanding the demographics that you're trying to reach.
It does, and the other things you guys do are a lot of the like the parades and the engagements within the community, the welcoming of new citizens
Mm-hmm.
into our community. There's a lot of community engagement that you guys do. I know for a fact that you guys had the drones out at
Yes.
one of the newcomers. I think it was a newcomers event,
Hmm.
and we're showing the drones and had the table set up and just trying to show the community what you guys are capable of, which is there's some really cool stuff. It's amazing stuff.
There
Um,
is.
and it's changing. It's actually changing the future of policing. A
Hmm.
lot of it, the new technology. Um, do you feel like, I- from your position, you say citizen or like a civilian position? I've talked to Deputy Chief Morales about it, and he gets overjoyed. He can't stop talking about the technology and where we're going with it all. But uh, when you talk to the police officers, I know that you feel that same way. But when you engage with the community, are you shocked at some of the things they don't know still that we have the capability of doing?
I am, to a degree. I think a lot of what we do with technology to a degree is behind the scenes. We do a lot of drone work, which people know, and we try to highlight that because it is a very, very important aspect of our department. I stepped into this role about a year. I'd say about a year ago. And I'm like, we're not highlighting this enough. Like, people don't know. Oh my goodness, this is so cool. So we started creating more content that shows that. Like, we had an elderly woman who went missing. We shot up a drone. We found her in 10 minutes. We had a gentleman who fled during a traffic stop, and we sent up a drone and we found him in the woods, and we were able to guide our officers to him safely. So there's a lot of value in the equipment and the technology that we have. Some of it is super secret squirrel, right? I don't even understand a lot of that, so I wouldn't expect the public to know any of that stuff. But I think, again, if it's predictable, it's preventable, right? So I try to look at the things like the drones and say, I don't know if people know enough about this. So then we'll do a push. And when we get new equipment in, like our DUI goggles, like how cool is that, right? Not many people know we have them. So we'll do a push. We might do a social media post. We'll bring them out to the public. And not everything is social media. Sometimes it's beating feet and boots on the ground and doing these events with the equipment and letting people see it firsthand. There's so many tools in our toolbox. And I think we're doing a good job letting the public know.
Well, and I don't think you have a lock on the toolbox. I think that's the loud
Hmm.
shout that everyone needs to hear is, instead of having the lock on the toolbox, we have leaders who are
Yes.
saying, help fill more of our toolbox, give us more tools.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily begging for money or doing those things. It's enhancement of what they're doing
Hmm.
with technology. Because like anything else, you can go into McDonald's now and order. You have to order yourself a lot of McDonald's.
Hmm.
Well, policing now, with less police officers, and keeping safety at an all-time high is essentially the key to the citizens being safe.
Hmm.
Because if the police officers aren't safe, neither are we,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
There's
Um,
an old term, work smarter, not harder, right?
yeah,
So if we have tools and the capability to work smarter and to protect our community and to protect ourselves, does that come with a cost? Absolutely. Sometimes things come with a cost, but what is the cost if we didn't have it? Sometimes that's
right.
greater. So we are so incredibly fortunate to have leadership that is willing to fill our toolbox and willing to sometimes go with our crazy ideas. Like, a lot of my ideas are crazy, but they support that because it's for the community. So it all works out. It's good.
I was driving. I got on 75 this morning to go up to Sumter because Price being shut down.
Hmm.
And I looked up at the billboard, and I see it all the time, but it meant something this morning. 104 square miles.
Hmm.
And now I'm talking to you, and I'm thinking 104 square miles. That's a lot of territory.
It is.
And yet we do an amazing job at keeping crime rates down and different things that you've highlighted, um, and that people can check online and see where we compare to the national average. Um, there's a lot to be said by having a great police department in your community. And every citizen should be clapping their hands that we have you guys. And we have leadership from the chief on down. And I'm not going to discard leadership within city with city manager Fletcher and his team and all the commissioners. Safety is first and foremost on all of their minds when it comes to the police department and the citizens. I don't know of anybody that fights against you guys when it comes to that. But it
No.
is important to understand that budgets are met and people are working hard to work those numbers. And I've talked to Deputy Chief about that enough. I've talked to Chief Titus about how he structures everything. There's a huge amount of commitment to the word safety in Northport.
Yep.
Um, how does that make you feel when you go out and talk to the community and engage with people who may not really understand the full depth of what we have?
I love educating them. As simple as that. You give me 20 minutes with somebody and they're going to come out an expert like me. I am such a supporter of the department, the city, and I will tell our story every chance I get. Every chance I get. We work for a phenomenal police department. We do. And we have the support of the commission. We have the support of the city manager's office. And it all comes together so beautifully. And we have a safe city. We have a wonderful, we have a wonderful city staff. We have great staff here. And it all just comes together and it's great. And I love telling that story, whether it's through social media or if it's in person. It's awesome.
It is, and just I watch how we graciously, and I say this because I knock on wood, I don't want to get pulled over, but I watch how we do that, and I hear a lot of feedback because of the interviews that I do. And people will come up and say, I got pulled over the other day and they shouldn't have pulled me over. And I said, well, are you doing something wrong? Well, yeah, but couldn't they have warned me? And I said, well, far beyond that, how did they treat you? And they're like, no, they were fine. And I said, now think about what you're saying. They were fine. Well, you guys are really work on that. And I've heard Deputy Chief talk about it. This talking to the community, even when you're getting a ticket,
Mhm.
there is something about presenting somebody with a ticket that can be taken a lot of different ways. But
Absolutely.
you guys are really kind of honing in on the, and I don't want to call it customer service because most people would take that the wrong way, but you do analyze how you guys talk to the community when you're writing them a ticket and try to educate them on why you can't maybe not get over a lane when police officers have somebody pulled over. They're immediately going to come and pull you over and give you a ticket, might give you a warning, but their
Mhm.
life is on the line there where you're not taking that into consideration when you're driving.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that culture that is being built? And I say it's being built because I don't think it's ever going to change. I think it's always going to be with great leadership. You're always looking to analyze how to build it.
So again, it comes down to leadership. Um, it's kind of like it's like parenting. You see what I do, so you do it, and that's what's happening here. Our officers are well trained. They are very respectful, and I suggest that anybody in Northport, if they want to see how things are done and they want to see traffic stops firsthand and that pucker effect, I mean, all of it, call us, come for a ride along, see how it's done. I get the opportunity to ride with a lot of our guys, and it's outstanding. It's outstanding to watch these men and women handle certain situations that I would be just terrified in. But they do it with such respect, and it's beautiful. Like I was riding with one of our traffic guys. This guy was just hauling down Biscayne. We pulled him over, and the way Officer Kelly got out of the car, approach the vehicle like I am having a full-blown panic attack. I'm like, this is not going to go well. This guy's going to be super mean because he was not happy during the stop, like before Kelly got out of the car. And he was able to de-escalate it. And to watch that is firsthand. I could never explain it to you. It's something that our citizens have to come and see for themselves, because it's awesome. I say that all the time. It's awesome. Like, it's just the culture here. It's the culture.
And that that's taken a little bit of time to. I don't know that we ever had a really bad, what I would say, terrible culture, but everything has to improve. And I think what we've got right now in our leadership at City Hall across the board, is an example of why culture has changed within the city itself, and how we're being looked at. Talking with Deputy Chief Morales in the past, we're not the redheaded stepchild that we all used to claim. We're actually kind of highlighted now. People come to us and see what technology we're using and how we're using it, and what we're doing differently to keep our officers safer. I know you can talk a little bit about that, and feel free to jump in there. But it's interesting when you actually dive in and start asking those questions. We're leading now, and do you feel like we're leading?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The benefit of my job is I get to meet a lot of different people across agencies throughout the state and throughout the country, and to talk about like our RTIC and the body camera systems and just everything that we do to keep everyone safe, not just our officers, everyone. We are so far ahead, that it makes me so proud. It makes me so proud, and it should make the community just as proud, that we have the ability to protect and to serve them in the capacity that we do.
And you guys do a great job. So make sure when you go back, shout the kudos from my group of followers and everybody else, because there hasn't been a negative comment. It's all been very positive, and you guys do an amazing job. I'm so happy. I say this really often. We should pound our chest about the things we have. We've got public works and our recycling program. We've got a great fire department, and they really work hard at keeping us safe, and our insurance rates down because of placement of where they're at with their stations. And then we have you guys who are all over the place doing the things that we need you to do, which is keep us all safe and sound.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kudos to be given out, and we're going to start 2026 with some huge bangs, because I'm not going to give up on shouting how great we are. But we can always get better, and that's the beauty. I think that none of the leaders in this town right now think we've hit where we need to hit. I think we're hitting our stride, and we're shooting higher. And I love that. They're all about tearing it down and building it back up. Bring them a better idea. Have solutions. Don't come to them with a complaint. Come to them with a solution and sit down. They're solution-driven people.
Yeah. Or you listen. If it's normal to have complaints, bring us the complaint. We'll sit down. We'll figure it out together. Right? That's what this is about. We're all in this together. We're all in this together.
Well, complaints are not a bad thing. Complaints should be constructive. Bring them in constructively. Don't build a barrier before you walk in the door with it. Because what I found is when you come in with a problem, as long as you're willing to sit down and kind of explain it all out, there's probably multiple solutions along the way, or something that can be adapted to. But you have to be in front of the right people. I think that's the key.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, it's almost 4:00, I think. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's fast.
45 seconds or less. But I want to personally thank everyone who listened and participated. Please like and share the video. The more we can get out there to the groups, the better off it is. if there's groups out there that I haven't shared it with and you're part of, get it out in front of them, because this information is critical. One, to build the relationships that are needed, so that if somebody needs assistance along the way, they got a familiar face in Brittany to contact and really kind of help the police department. So I appreciate it. And Robin, you're right. It was a great show, and I appreciate you being part of it. And Elaine, thank you too. So you guys have a blessed day. Brittany, thanks so much for being part of it.
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. We'll talk to you soon. Bye,
Bye.
guys.